Hi, today I'm going to talk about a balance transfer hack, a way to use a balance transfer card to move from a high interest rate to a new card, preferably with a 0%, but not pay the balance transfer fee. If you're familiar with some of the other videos I've shown, if you move, let's say, $10,000 from a credit card that has a high interest rate and you move it to a 0% card, they're going to charge you a transfer fee. They charge it once, but it's anywhere between 3 and 5%. So in that case, it would be $300 or $500. So instead of a $10,000 balance, you now have a $10,500 balance. Your balance is going up instead of down, not what you want to do, but ultimately you're still better off. But I'm going to show you a way in which you can transfer your balance onto a 0% card, but not pay the balance transfer fee. It's kind of a trick, and I'll show you in a moment. But first, I wanted to say thank you. I've been making videos for a while now, and I've gotten comments on various ones, but recently there were some I thought that were pretty funny, but actually very helpful. The first one was, I'm going to shout out their names, not to embarrass them, but to say thank you. It was a cool name, Rebar King. He said that if you look at my previous videos, I just wear a t-shirt in every video. It's one of these classic tees. I think it's the name of the company. And they're very comfortable. They're just cotton. And I thought, well, for consistency's sake, I'll just wear tees every single time. And he basically said, you look unprofessional. Those shirts are too tight. You're not 19 anymore. You've gained weight. You look ridiculous. Okay, so I put on a different shirt. But these things roll together because on another video, someone pointed out that it sounded terrible because this is a mic. And I would put the mic on my collar. And when I moved my neck, I guess it would make a noise. And it was, I love this YouTube name, Bodacious Wench, that first pointed out and said, you sound terrible, that's annoying, fix that. Something in those terms, actually, she was more polite than that. And then Geekazoid jumped in, also a cool name. And then Kala Girl. And Geekazoid had this suggestion, which was, hey, we just wear a button-down shirt and stick it. I think he meant a full button-down shirt, but I didn't grab one. I just put on a polo and stick it between the buttons so it doesn't rub. So let's see if that works. I spent over $1 million on credit cards in just 1 year. Let my experience help you get out of debt and use credit cards to your advantage. Now let's get into this video. All right, so like I mentioned, I'm going to show you how to move onto a 0% card without paying the transfer fee. So let's say, for sake of example, you've got $10,000 on your credit card here, and you're paying somewhere between, say, 20 and 30% interest. Outrageous. I know that's what it is, and it's just, you're never going to get out of debt. So you want to move it, you got this new card. And that new card, you want to move your balance over there because they have a 0% on balance transfers, meaning you move the balance over and you'll get 0% for a certain period of time. I've got another video that I'm going to put down in the link. I'm in the description, and it's going to show a list of cards that have 0% balance transfer, and they range from, I think, 12 to 21 months. So let's say it's for 21 months. And usually you have to move it within, say, the first 60 days or 120 days, but if you're doing this, you're going to move it immediately, so that doesn't matter. And then for 21 months, you can pay your balance down with 0%. Huge savings. Now, most of these cards, not all of them, but most of them, and we'll talk about some, they will also give you 0% on what they call new purchases. And typically, it runs for the same amount of time. 0% balance transfer 21 months, 0% new purchases 21 months. Now, they don't make this as obvious when you go to the webpage and you're reading through it. This is what they're pushing out there, because they want you to grab their card, move the money over, and then get used to using their card, right? I mean, they're doing this for a reason. They're not doing it because they eventually want you to go back to this. All right. Now, when you do the balance transfer, they're going to charge you a fee. So you move over your $10,000, and they will charge you anywhere. It's typically 3 to 5%. 3% to 5% of the total balance. They charge it once, as soon as it goes over. So 3% is either $300 or $500 in this example. 3% of 10,000. So now you moved your 10,000 over, and you end up with, let's say, 10,500. That's not ideal because obviously your balance is going up and you want it to go down. Now you only pay that once, so this one is now obviously at 0. So you no longer have to worry about that killer interest rate. But this one's at 10,500, it went up. Now over time with the 0%, you're still going to make out and you're still going to save quite a bit of money. But now let me show you a way to move this money from here to here, but not pay the fee. And how you do that? You do it by using the 0% new purchases. Let me show you and erase this in a second. All right, so I cleaned up the board. This column represents your new 0% card. You want the balance here. You don't want to pay the fee. Excuse me. This represents your current 30% card, $10,000. And now you, of course, have your monthly expenses. Now, let's say that during the course of a month, you look at what you buy, and let's say you buy gas, groceries, parking, and whatever else you may do during the month, other things. And let's just say, for sake of argument, or I should say, for sake of illustration, it adds up to $2,000. Now, you get your pay from your employer, wherever you make your money. You either use cash out of your pocket, or you go and use your debit card. And when you use your debit card, that money, when you pay for these items, comes right out of your checking account, okay? So here's what you're going to do. You're going to take, instead of using your debit card, so instead of, when you go buy, let's say gas, you don't use your bank card, you use this new 0% card, okay? So what's that going to do? Well, $2,000 during the month, you're going to charge onto this card. And that is just like it says over there. That's your gas, that's your groceries, your parking, and whatever else it may be. Okay, so you just charged $2,000 worth. Nothing came out of your account, so the $2,000 is still sitting in your account. So you make a payment of that $2,000 to this 30% card. You just move the money. Minus 2 is 8. So what did we just do? Now, we didn't pay anything down or change your balance. We're just trying to get this money on a 30% card to the 0. So again, you charged everything that you'd normally use your debit card for. You charged it over here. You now have a balance on your 0%. Remember, this is the card that gives you a 0% on new purchases. And you just purchased $2,000 worth of stuff. That's a new purchase. You're going to get your 0% for 21 months, just like you would get 0% on a balance transfer. Now, you made the payment, and you took the money out of your checking account because you didn't use your checking account for gas, groceries, and parking. You used this for gas, groceries, and parking. So you still have $2,000 in your checking account. You moved it over to the 30% card, and now this balance is $8,000. You started with a balance of 10 total. Now you have 2 over here and 8 over there. You do that, obviously, for 4 more months, right? Another 2, 2, 2, and 2. And now, in other words, for the next 4 months, you use this card to charge everything. And you end up owing $10,000. But of course, you minus 2, 2, 2, and 2. Yeah, you get the idea. And you end up with a 0 balance. So in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, you have been able to move your $10,000 of debt that was on a 30% card to $10,000 on a 0%. Now, it's not perfect because, I mean, it works, but I should say, if you were to move with a balance transfer, it would happen immediately in month 1. And then you have the full $10,000, 0% for 21 months. And in that case, you were paying the additional $500. So we've moved it, it's taken 5 months. Now, chances are you're taking your total balance, $10,000. If it's a 21-month card, you're dividing that by 21, you're making those payments. So at the end of the 21 months, you're at 0. So it doesn't matter that it took 5 months because you're paying it down by a smaller amount every month anyway. So this is how, real simple, And I want you to understand, or at least illustrate to you, that there's always a way around, or there's always a way to do something a little differently if you just sort of think, I hate this term, I don't know what else to say, outside of the box. So when they say, oh, you want to do a balance transfer? Well, that's going to be a 5% fee. So, well, I got another idea. Just go ahead and give me the card, and I'll figure it out. And then you just move the money over and buy the stuff here. So I hope that was very straightforward for you. Now, if you watch the video on the various cards that have the 0% balance transfer as well as the 0% new purchases, some of them also, I believe one of them has a 2% cash back. Maybe 1% when you purchase, 1% when you pay off. But one of them, I know has 2%, one of them has a 1.5%. Well, you just spent $10,000. If you got 2% cash back, well, 2% of 10,000 is $200. So you got an extra $200. So if you went with the normal method, I'm just going to draw it right here in the center, of balance transfer plus fee, you ultimately had to pay off $10,500. But if you use the new method and you move it over just as a new purchase, it's $10,000 even. And if you get the card that gives you 2% cash back, you're going to make $200 on those new purchases. And now it's $9,800 that you ultimately paid back. So you can choose to pay back $10,500 or $9,800, a savings and a difference of $700. Actually, that's really good. Instead of using the balance transfer, use this method and you're going to save a significant amount of money. Use the method with a card that gives you cash back and you'll save even more. That's a really good savings. I mean, ultimately, that's what? Of your $10,000 debt, that's a 7% savings. My board looks ridiculous, but you get the idea. So now, instead of using your typical balance transfer method, you're going to use this method and you're going to save 7% of your total balance. Not bad. Thanks for watching. If you have comments or questions, please leave them below. I'll put links to some of the other videos as well. And please watch the different videos I have because there's all sorts of ways to get around some of these fees that banks charge because you ultimately want to get out of those 30% credit cards, get onto something lower, and get your debt paid off as quickly as possible. So I hope this is helping you on that journey. Thanks for watching.